So we've got our basic beat, but now we want to add some flair, maybe do some fills, things like that. So what I'm going to show you here is, first of all, we're going to go in and we're going to go ahead and repeat this tempo here. So we're going to do Alt-R again, bring up our repeat dialog. We'll do 3, so that now we're at a solid 4 measures here. And then down here, we're going to spruce this up a little bit by going into the hi-hat, and we're going to go ahead and add in a little open hi-hat here on the last beat of the measure here. Open that up a little bit. So now we've got... Okay, so now I want this to be 2 measures because that's the turnaround with that hi-hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control-4, and I'm going to actually Shift-click these 2 and select them together. And then I'm going to press Alt, Shift, and 3, and that's going to actually let me merge those 2 clips together. And now when I repeat them, so Alt-R again, 3, Enter, now it's got them all as one. And now I can actually even do that again to go ahead and match these up. So Alt, Shift, 3 again. And now I've got repeat 3. Again, so you can see Alt repeat 3. There. Now I've got a matched setup here, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, and that's just going to play over and over again. And I can now adjust these volumes independently of each other. I can go ahead and bring down my drums. I can bring down my hi-hat a little bit. Okay. Now here's a trick too, real quick, to just go over this. As you can see over here on the left, those levels are right at peaking. That's too loud, and the defaults on the plugins are always too loud. So you're going to want to click on Addictive Drums here, and you can just go to the master output here, and you're going to want to pull that down because you don't want this peaking over here. You want it to be just a little bit into where it starts to turn brighter green. So we're going to bring that down until that happens. Okay, that's much better right there. There we go, much better. Alrighty. Now, let's talk about fills here. So we've got this going. Let's say we started off in the beginning of the song, right? And so right around here, we've got a little bit of intro, first verse maybe. We get to the fill. So Addictive Drums has fills built in, but they're a little hard to use and they're not that great. And a lot of times they don't have fills built in. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to write in a fill. So here's the end of your beat here. I got to turn this volume back up so we can hear this. Here's where your turnaround is going to happen, so you're right here. Okay, so right here at the end is where the turnaround is going to happen. We're looking at this, and we're going to go, all right. So let's say that the fill is going to be as long as this last measure is going to be the fill, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 measures on this last turnaround, and this last measure here is going to be the fill. So just something very simple is just to add some snares in, right? So we've got it going here. We've got the hi-hat on the other side. Let's go ahead and say that we want to add 2 kicks. So again, right, you've got kick, snare is what we've got going on here. So we're going to add a second kick in. So we're going to do kick, kick, snare to start. So it's going to go, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and make this a double snare hit. And so it's simple to create your own by putting 2 right next to each other, and then we're going to click slip here, which lets us move this exactly where we want, and we're actually going to put these basically on top of each other. And this is going to sound like you're hitting 2 really closely together. We'll go back to grid, and we'll play that. That's not close enough, so we're going to go ahead and drag it a little bit more. And that's too close. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and turn off the hi-hats here. So at this point, right, so right here, go back to grid. So right there is where he goes to hit the snare with two sticks. So at that point, he's not using the sticks for the hi-hat anymore, right? So we got to make sure that this sounds like a real person could play it. So at that point, he has now hit the snare with both sticks. So we're going to go ahead and just do a very simple turnaround. It's going to be two of these kind of snare hits with kicks in between. So it's going to go prat-da-da, prat-da-da. And so we're going to go, there's the first right there. And it's going to go, so it's do prat-da. So this is the next kick here, next beat here, right? So it's going to go, right? Then we're going to need to hit the snare again up here. And we're going to merge these together to get that double snare sound. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to grid. And then these last two kicks are actually going to just run right into the next beat. So, and then the next beat will be the kick again, right? So we're going to go ahead and to make this simple on ourselves, we're going to run over here and we're going to grab this clip, whoops, which is just our normal beat. We're going to Control C and run over here. Control V on the line there. And now it just... right? But again, we got to go ahead and bring in the hi-hat again too. Now we're right back on where we were, okay? And so let's go ahead and say, for the sake of argument, that this was a fill that was leading into the refrain, okay? Because I want to get into the rides next. So we got the fill there. So we're basically expecting that this next one is going to be the refrain or some other part of the song. And so we're going to want to throw a crash in, which, let's find the crash. There we go. There's a good crash. There's a good crash. There we go. Oh, that's on the wrong one because we want to put that in the cymbal track, not the kick track. Where is it? There it is. Oh, that's too loud. Yeah, see, so that this whole track needs to be brought down, right? So we're at 127 here. This needs to come down to 90 because that's where all these are. So we're going to go ahead and redo that. There we go. There you go. And because of that, too, we'll get rid of that hi-hat there because you're not going to be hitting the hi-hat and the snare or the crash at the same time. So perfect. And that's how you create a fill. In the next video, we're gonna create a refrain. We're going to add in rides and things like that.